Okay, so some news dropped today. Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, has decided to throttle back and slow down things when it comes to Star Wars. Yes, 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 yes. We needed this so bad, okay? Look, they really hit it out of the park with The Force Awakens. Now, some people didn't like the movie because they were like, it's a little bit too much like the original Star Wars, kind of like a reboot, but that was kind of what it was supposed to be. It was rebooting, kind of bringing the old in with the new and kind of setting this new course. And so I was extremely happy with how The Force Awakens turned out. And I think Disney was extremely happy too because they had spent $4 billion buying the rights to Lucasfilm from George Lucas, and they needed to make their money back. So the first movie did $2 billion worldwide, the highest grossing domestic film of all time. I believe it beat Avatar, bringing in 900 and something million dollars. So right off the bat, Disney's like, holy shit, we got to make another one. So right away, they turned out Rogue One, which was amazing. They had some production problems. I think some of the last battle sequences and stuff was reshot, or they did additional photography to finish the film. So Gareth Edwards gets to take all the credit for the movie. I think it was Tony Gilroy, I think, did the reshoots and did like the famous Vader scene, which was probably hands down one of the best Darth Vader scenes in the history of the Star Wars trilogy, except probably for everything in The Empire Strikes Back. But I'll tell you what, man, they were on a roll. So The Force Awakens does $2 billion. Rogue One does 1.1 or 1.2 billion, I think. So they're like, yes. So they're making their investment back. Now that doesn't include all of the toys and all the marketing and all the stuff that they did to get the movie out. So they're getting their money back, but you know, they haven't fully recouped that $4 billion. So along comes The Last Jedi, and it pulled in 1.3 billion. I personally didn't care for the movie at all. I think it just, someone like me, and I'll just give you a little background. I was born in 1975, so I was 2 years old when the first Star Wars film came out, but I was old enough, and my father took me to see The Empire Strikes Back, and I did see Return of the Jedi in the theater as well. So you're talking about somebody who grew up, and I had seen the original Star Wars because by the time The Empire Strikes Back came around, it had already been on television and things like that. So I was aware of Star Wars, collected the figures, the whole nine yards. I'm a psycho kind of Star Wars fan, but I'm more canon when it comes to the films. So as far as the extended universe and all the books and all that other kind of stuff, I'm not really into that as much. A little bit of Rebels. I didn't watch a lot of the Clone Wars stuff. So I'm not like a hardcore, like everything has to be, you know, directly how it's supposed to be and it all's supposed to line up and all that shit. No, not me. I like the movies. The movies are canon for me. So The Last Jedi comes out and just totally fucks everything up. And one of the main reasons it did, it was because it just totally deviated from like everything that was, the groundwork was laid. And what I'm referring to is like The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, there was the Knights of Ren. There was this whole dream sequence where Rey had touched the lightsaber and the whole nine yards and blah, 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 blah. And they had set all this groundwork. And then just like having Luke throw the lightsaber over his shoulder, Rian Johnson threw all that shit out and wanted to do his own thing. And when he did, he screwed up. And he screwed up big time. And I'll tell you why. Now, a lot of the millennials and the young people, they like The Last Jedi, fine, no problem. But the hardcore fans are the ones that go and see the movie 5 and 6 times. I saw The Force Awakens 7 times in all different formats, IMAX, 3D, standard. Other friends were like, I'm going. I was like, okay, I'll go with you. I'll see it again, blah, 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 blah. So Rogue One, I loved it. I saw it multiple times in the theater. Last Jedi. And when you alienate the core base, it hit him in the pocket. Because if The Force Awakens did $2 billion and The Last Jedi did $1.3 billion, they left $700 million on the table. All right? Now, Just to give you an example of how much money that is, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull did $789 million worldwide. Okay, so they basically left an entire feature film worth and just tossed it. Now everyone will say, well, it's a success because Rogue One did 1.1 billion and all that. No, look, Bob Iger's right to slow things down because Rian Johnson left so much money on the table, it's ridiculous. And I'm surprised they didn't cut him loose already, but I still think it's coming. He's going to get the axe. And I don't care what anybody says. You can fight me on that in the comment section, but he's going to be gone. Nobody wants to see a new created trilogy about the barn stable boy and his friends and the little horses that they ride. No one wants to see a trilogy of that, even if they jump it into the future where they're all like teenagers. Nobody wants to see that. So anyway, I think the Game of Thrones guys are going to knock it out of the park, but I'm going off on a tangent. Bob Iger slows it down because they lost money. Okay, so then 6 months later, out comes Solo, and they had massive amounts of problems, and everyone knows all the backstory behind that. The firing of the directors, Ron Howard coming in, clean up, the budget went through the roof, blah, 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 blah. It only made $400 million. Now, Solo, on its own right, as a heist film, is a good movie. It's probably one of the best Star Wars movies that they've made, and it's a damn shame that it didn't do better. Now, it should have been released because of the backlash with The Last Jedi and everybody being pissed and people not want. There were a lot of fans that boycotted Solo on purpose because they knew that it would send a message to Disney, and it did. It woke them up, and it woke them up real nice. So Bob Iger's like, okay, look, we got to slow this down because we've lost money on Solo. Now, it's going to probably make some money on the DVD release, and some people said it may even break even if it's a hit on Blu-ray and digital downloads. So if it even makes the break-even point, that's great for Disney. You know, no harm, no foul. But it's a damn shame because the movie itself could have turned into something really big, you know, bringing in Darth Maul and all that kind of stuff at the end, and you know, tying it back into Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars and all that stuff, the animated stuff. So, you know, look, no matter what anyone thinks, this shit had to be throttled back. It just had to. And it's just the best news we can hear so far. I really think we're going to see Kathleen Kennedy step down. Now, I think Kathleen Kennedy, in her own right, has done a fantastic job, and she's brought billions of dollars to Lucasfilm and to Disney by what she's doing. I think it got a little crazy there for a little bit, and I think it's time for her to kind of step back and let somebody else come in and take the reins going forward. I almost would rather see someone like J.J. Abrams take over and become the Kevin Feige of like Marvel and just start rocking and rolling with all the Star Wars stuff. But he's got other stuff going on, so he may not do it, and that's fine. But somebody else needs to come in. Rian Johnson's got to go. Okay, he lost Disney big money, and his movie was divisive. Okay, say whatever you want. Oh, it looked beautiful. There was so much wrong with that film. I'm not even going to go into it. That would be a separate video altogether. But I will say that I think they're going to course correct and maybe not fix everything that went wrong with The Last Jedi, but they're going to course correct, and we're going to have a decent film with J.J. Abrams. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's the right thing to do is to throttle this back, slow it down. It's not Marvel. We don't need a new Star Wars film every single year. I do think the guys from Game of Thrones that are writing their trilogy, I think because it's in their wheelhouse to do like the Old Republic, because it's basically Game of Thrones with lightsabers. So I think these guys are going to nail it. And I think once their scripts are turned in, they're going to get the green light, and Rian Johnson's going to bow out and do some other stuff. This is a guy that fights with fans. He spent, 7 months, 8 months defending his movie and defending all of his choices. If you're a strong director and your movie was good, you wouldn't have to defend any of it. But anyway, Rian Johnson! Dude, I'm sure you're a nice guy, but you really screwed the pooch on The Last Jedi. Sorry, that's just how it's going to go down in history. Except with the millennials and the young people that don't know any better. But anyway, that's it. That's my video. Sorry, I've been a little idle with my videos, but I've been surviving Hurricane Florence down in Wilmington, North Carolina, so it's been really rough. A lot of my friends have houses that are in 7 feet of water and have lost everything. And I got lucky. My house was high enough off the ground, 20 feet above sea level. I have damage to my roof, but it's been days and days of cleaning up and restoring power to the city. And my local movie theater that I go to, which is right around the corner from where I live, they're reopening up Friday the 21st, so I'm really excited. And I've got a lot of movies to catch up on. Predator, Peppermint. I'm gonna be going gangbusters going to the theater, and so you'll be seeing a lot more videos coming up. But this is like my first one back. It's been a really hard week with the hurricane and everything, and so here you go. That's my first video, my thoughts. Bob Iger doing the right thing, slow it down. Let's not put a movie out every freaking week when it comes to Star Wars. We already have 100 episodes of a television show that's going to be coming on Disney streaming platform that Favreau is doing, so I look forward to that. It's going to get to the point where we're so saturated with it that none of it's going to make money, and they can't do that. So focus on episode 9. Get it out, get the fans back, get the old fans and the new fans to come together, and let's see how this next movie does. But that's what I got. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, comment below, share this video on social media, and I'll see you next time. It was a big steaming pile of shit, The Last Jedi, and that's how I feel about that.